Hi there guys, and welcome to another Commodore 64 review. I've changed my framing a bit here. I've got a stool so I'm a bit lower so I can bring the camera in a bit more and get the screen there, and I'm hoping this will turn out a bit better, so we'll see how this goes. But today I wanted to talk about one of my all-time favourite games and from the Commodore 64, and that's called Castle Master. Now, the first thing I'll say about Castle Master is that it came out on Commodore 64, Spectrum, Amiga, Atari, PC. There were even CPC conversions, and there were a lot of versions of this game of the same thing, which says a lot because the game itself was made with a 3D engine called, I've forgotten the name, I've gone blank, Freescape, that's right, yeah, Freescape, that's right, the Spectacular Super Freescape, yeah, Freescape engine, and basically what that was is, so you got a Commodore 64, right, you got 16 colours or something, you know, as you can see here, dark blue, light blue, you know, you don't have a lot to work with, so when they made this engine, it was pretty much what everyone in the games industry considers to be the very first version of 3D in a game. Now that's saying a lot, and considering the fact that it came out on these older systems is pretty impressive. So what they did is, the aim of the game is that you know, you start the game and you choose if you want to play as the prince or princess, and what the story is, if you play as the prince, the story goes that a year ago your twin sister, who's the princess, was kidnapped. If you play as the princess, it's the same thing in reverse. And there's this whole story, and I've got even there's a poem here. I'm going to read you a bit of it in a sec. But if you read the poem and then play the game and listen to the music, it had this awesome atmosphere. And you guys will hear the music. If you haven't heard it before, you'll freak out. It's really that cool. And anyway, going back to the 3D, so they made this 3D castle, right? And you know, they didn't have many colours to work with, so you know, you'll see there's like yellow tables, and sometimes the walls are grey and then they're white, and the doors are black and the keys are black. There's no real textures in the game. It's all just like vectorized 3D. They use some sort of mathematics engine or something, which you can read about on Wikipedia, and that was the driving force of it. The Amiga version of this game obviously had a lot more colors to work with, and there's a long play you can watch on YouTube, and if you like this video, watch it, because yeah, it's got the same sort of music, but you know, it's sort of better, because you know, the Commodore music's awesome, don't get me wrong, but it's limited. When you hear the Amiga one, it's really cool. I like both. Yeah, watch that, because yeah, the colors are a bit better, and you'll see. If it was around today, it's a bit more close of what it would look like. So, yeah, basically, if you've played Doom or Quake or Unreal Tournament or Gears of War, whatever, all those games, you can pretty much say that this is the granddaddy, because this was the first version of 3D. You know, so you got to respect this game. And I'll show you guys the box art and the disc and that now, because I love this box art. As you can see there, yeah, so you got the shield up there, the Castle Master, sort of the old school regal writing. Then you got this picture of this real ominous castle with lightning around it, and you know, spiky things and grey mountains in the background and bats. It just looks so cool, you know. And yeah, you got the typical sort of the box art there, the old school scroll. Here's some screenshots. I think that's hang on, let me see. It says Atari ST and Amiga screenshots, so yeah, I'll just show you those. As you can see, they're a lot better than the Commodore ones. When you see the Commodore one, you'll see what I mean. But yeah, put that there. It's not in the way, it probably is. It is. That's the disc. Yeah. Alright, so let's load this sucker up. What I want to do is, because there is no Commodore 64 full review of this game on YouTube, I want to do a long play of it. But it's honestly been so long since I beat this game, so I don't know how long it will take me to do it. I'm hoping I can do it in under an hour and get it on YouTube. Yeah, I'll just turn this sound off because I want to read you that poetry. Before I do that, I just want to show you this picture too. But so when I saw that on Commodore 64, I was like, oh! I mean, you look at it today and it's like, man, there's like 3 colours there. It's like dark blue, red, yellow and grey. 4 colours. You know? So it's amazing what you can do with 4 colours. A true artist can make something that cool, you know. And you probably, even these days, you could easily add more definition with the blacks. It's just, to put 1 dot on the screen on Commodore 64 was a bit of a challenge. But yeah, back in the day I played this game so much, I loved it, and you'll see how slow it runs, and you guys will be like, man, that's so slow, you know, but back then it didn't matter, you played it so much, there was no internet, you know, you had the time to do it, and I played this game thoroughly, and I got pretty much 8 keys, and to beat the game you need to find all 10, and to open the last door you need 10 keys. On the Commodore version. And I could never find those last 2 keys, and there were 2 places I couldn't get into, and that was the high ledge of the castle and the stables. And it turns out that when I started getting into emulators on computer, I finally figured it out, and I'll show you, because it's actually, the key's right actually at the start, the one I couldn't find, and that key opens the stable, and in the stable is the key for the high ledge, and yeah. Once I did that, you know, I'd beaten it pretty much. You fight a dragon in the game. It's not like, you know, what you're thinking the dragon was, right? Yeah, it's just stationary and it's just flashing and you just throw rocks. Your weapon is rocks in this game. You throw the rocks at the dragon, and you could only beat him on the Commodore version when you destroyed pretty much all the spirits in the game. And it wasn't clear anywhere. There is a clue in the Amiga version that says something like, with all spirits unemployed, then Magister can be destroyed. But there was no clues in the Commodore version, and you go into this room, and normally when there's a ghost or a spirit in the room, you just throw a rocket and it dies. And you go into this room, and the room's flashing, and you're like, oh my god, there's a ghost somewhere. You know, you start throwing rocks at everything, and nothing happens. And it turns out the only way to beat him was you have to throw a rocket at both his eyes, both his ears, his teeth, and then it sort of destroyed him. And you know, when you do that, when you throw a rocket at his eye, nothing happens. So it's like you don't, there's no noticeable thing. Yeah, so as you can see, I get really excited when I start talking about games like this because, I mean, this is such a cool game. This would be an awesome remake. The stuff that they could do with this game if they remade this today. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you some of the poetry. Not poetry, I don't know, what would you call it? I don't know. Poem or something. Rhymes. And I'm not good at reading this stuff because, you know, my English is a bit off, but I'm just going to try. I'm just going to read you one of my favourite parts of the story. Yeah, okay. And this describes the whole story about how there was this wizard who was really great and really powerful. Magister was his name, you know, and he lived out in the mountains or in some sort of cave or something, and he goes into this sleep, and then while he's asleep, you know, humans sort of evolve. They sort of move in and build a castle there where he is, and you know, and they sort of set up, and there's this big castle. He awakens, and suddenly there's this castle here, and there's all these people here, and the people start giving him shit, you know, they're like, you know, piss off, you old man, or whatever. I don't know, even if he's old, you know, whatever. They're disrespecting him, you know, they're like, he's some, like, sort of, like, bum, you know, he lives in a cave, you know, we'll throw shit at him, as you'll see when I read the poem. But, you know, they disrespect this guy, and they don't realise that, you know, he used to be super powerful magician, and he rants and talks about his magic, and they laugh at him, they think he's a crackpot, you know, magic doesn't exist, and all this shit. You know, and then he devises this plan to get revenge, and he brews all his magic spells and potions in the wizard's hut, which you'll see in the game. And then the king has this big feast, and somehow he poisons it, and poisons the feast, and it explodes or something, and all the people are killed in the castle. That's his ultimate revenge. He kills them all, and they're all transformed into spirits. And when you're in the room with a spirit, it drains your energy. And it's sort of like, you know, they're doing his bidding now, and he is sort of the ultimate ruler. And he sort of set up this challenge. And what happens is your twin comes to the castle, you know, and he sends his dragon to kidnap her. Which, if you've got the Amiga version, you see the shadow sort of take her. You see his claws. And yeah, and then you come looking for her a year later, and you have to solve the puzzles to find her, and that's where the game starts. But first, I'll read some of this poetry, which I'll probably scan and make available later online. Okay. And what once seemed some great magic was now a simple chemist's trick, and even thunderclaps were made by gunpowder and cannonade. The secrets of the stars were wrenched, the telescope and science bench, but what caused the most misery was disrespectful wizardry. The Magister crawled on all fours, up through the ground and out of all doors, into the wilderness outside the castle walls, and he did hide, inside a ragged wooden hut, from whence to plot his comeback. But the people in the castle laughed at Magister and called him daft, and called him wizard and buffoon, and threw old fish guts at the loon. Even little infants teased, and pulled his hair and kicked his knees, and sent their dogs to wet his shoes, and make him stand at the back of queues. The wizard's hut became his lair, and Magister awaited there, to build his strength and body too, and practice ways to make anew his former power o'er man and beast. He also brewed some beer with yeast, which is irrelevant, but shows he had a human tongue and nose. Attention, or I'll crush your toes. He took a leaf and mushroom cap from the stunted tree, he squeezed the sap, and then with secret oils he brewed those potions which himself renewed. But still the yokels thought him weird, and spat at his face and tugged his beard. The children that were tall enough covered his hood with sticky stuff. The babies puked when he passed by, the sparrows aimed into his eye. The priest declared he was insane, the baker tipped him in the drain. The baker's wife crowed at his smell, her daughter threw him down the well. You know, so as you can see, they treated him pretty badly, you know, so they fucking had it coming. Anyway, if you read the whole thing, it's really sort of creepy and gives you clues about the game, and I just love it. You know, I'm going to scan that and put that online, because I don't think anyone's got the manuals anymore. They're hard to get, so... Alright. That's the music. Now I have to play, so I'm sort of just going to... I have to sort of go down here on the floor and talk while I do it. Obviously select English. I'll just select Prince, because that's what I'm experienced with. Let me just check that this is all good. Cool. Right. So you press any key, and the gate opens. And you're in the world of Castle Master. Now, first thing we do is select run, because I'm an experienced player, and I know if I walk it'll be real slow. So obviously, you know, looking left and right, sort of, this is your 3D perspective. Pressing forward moves forward, pressing back moves back, and you can look down and up with the keyboard. So, if I walk over here, obviously you see a moat, which you don't want to fall into because, yeah, if you read the whole poem, there's something about you not being able to swim. So, yeah, the drawbridge is closed, you can't get in. Obviously, it's pretty obvious. You throw a rock at that panel and the drawbridge drops, but I'm just going to show you something. If you didn't know that, there's a clue in this wizard hut, which is what I was just reading about. So as you can see, there's a little hut out here. We'll go over there. As you can see, you know, it is a slow game, but you do get used to it after a while. Okay, so we'll go up to the wizard's hut. And as you can see, something down on the wall. Whoa, go back a bit. We'll examine that with A. Not fair. Shut up. A well-placed rock is all you need to make the drawbridge fall with speed. So, that gives you the clue on how to get in. Let's do it. I just press U then to do a U-turn. This game was all about atmosphere, you know, it seems real lonely, you know. Another game like that is Assassin's Creed, pretty much. Even though there's a lot of people in the game, it has a sort of an experience feel to it. So, okay, so we're back at the front of the castle. Alright, now let's get this drawbridge happening. Alright, so there we go, drawbridge is now open, which means we can go in and kill. Gotta love those lighting effects. Now there's a clue somewhere in the game about there being a spirit in the courtyard, which you need to complete the game. I'm just going to show you that now. So as soon as I throw a rock at this flag, a spirit will appear in the sky. There we go. Now there he is up there. So all I have to do is throw a rock at him. But as you can see, the longer I take, it'll drain my health. You watch. These dumbbells represent your health status. See, I went down. Uh-oh. Get in. There we go. Get in. Oh shit, I'm gonna die. There we go. Alright. Yeah, I could have gotten closer just if I needed to, but... So yeah, you take him out. First thing you should do, really, actually, I'll do that before I even go over the well, is go over to this door over here. There's a key you need. That spirit level in the middle obviously indicates spirit level. The object of the game is to get that right down. So as you can see, there's another ghost here. And as you can see, they look pretty creepy. I mean, big orange thing with two black eyes. I mean, you'd laugh at that shit these days, but really cool atmosphere. Yeah. First thing you're gonna do is get this key, because if you fall down any holes, if you don't have that key, you can't get out. So make sure you get that key first. Then head over to the well. Alright, oh, careful, don't fall in. You crawl. Crawl over the well. And then examine it. And you'll find another key. And then back away from it. I don't want to go in there yet. You do have to go in the well, obviously. Show you something. Go back here. There's a smithy back here. Later in the game, you get a potion called rock travel, which will let you obviously just travel the doors but just by throwing rocks at them, which becomes real handy because as you can see, you know, it is slow sort of moving around. So yeah, smithy. Not much in here really. Some food though, which I need after fighting that courtyard spirit. I think there's some treasure from memory. Yeah, man, I'm good. Alright. There we go. Which is sort of pointless. But obviously it's to do with the theme of castle. Castles have treasure hoards. Alright, so we go back out. I'm going to show you this key that stuck me for so long. I'm also going to show you one of the hardest parts of the game. There's two really hard parts of the game. I'll talk about the first one because I won't have time to show you that one as well. But when you drain the hot bars on the Commodore version, there's a key in the cabin that you fall into, right up the top, like in the corner of the screen. And that was pretty much the hardest key I had to find in the game, other than this one that I'm showing you now. And yeah, I couldn't believe it. You have to sort of, there's a little sort of bench separator thing. You got to stand on the highest part of the bench and look up and get the key. So there's a good tip for you. And now that I've got the key for Wizard's Hut, I can go in and show you where this other key is. In the Amiga version, there's a window in that tower, and later in the game you can't get back outside. I'll show you why in a minute. And but there's a trick. You look out the window and you throw a rock with the rock shovel at the Wizard's Hut, and then you get the secret treasure that appears only after you've done the trick to close the door, close the drawbridge. So you sort of get a bonus for circumventing that. And then you throw the rock back at the window to get back in the castle, but that's obviously not on the Commodore version. Okay, so we open the door opens. Sweet, alright. Alright, so pretty strong. Alright, now here's the trick. This is what stumped me for about 10 years. I'm going to show you. You guys will probably be like, oh, that's so obvious and that. Well, I'll tell you why it stumped me. To get on this table, you can't just walk onto it, right? But I figured this out back in the day. Alright, so you just walk. Alright. Now crawl. If you get on the table, you obviously have to go on the chair first because the table's too high, right? So you do that, you go on the table, and up you go. So you sort of level with the star, right? And then you go on the table, right? And I used to do this, sort of just looking around, trying to find shit, you know, trying to figure out this key thing. As you can see, there's really nothing to figure out. It's just a table, right? Now let me turn around. Now, as you can see, when you're looking at the chair in crawl mode, you can't see anything, right? And I always thought that it was suspicious because this is the Wizard's Hut. It's mentioned in the poetry. I thought there'd be a key in here for sure. I've examined that whole chair and found nothing, right? So I thought, you know, there's nothing. But the thing that stumped me was I wasn't standing up. And if I was, you know, I might have been facing that way and not this way. You have to stand up and look at the chair. And then there's that black box on top. And obviously that is the last key that I need. There we go. The stable key. So, yeah. That was what stumped me. And when I found that, I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my god, are you serious? That's tight. and obviously, yeah, you find all these pits, like, you know, you examine the rug and it disappears. But I won't fall down there yet. Every time, there's all these cabins that you have to find. And falling down the holes, obviously, is how you get to them. And once you have all 10 keys, you've destroyed pretty much all the ghosts in the game. When that spirit level's all the way at the bottom, you can take out the dragon and then open the door. And then you beat the game. There's really no ending graphics or anything. It's just, you're able to say you accomplished it. Okay, now I'll show you this trick. This is probably one of the last things I'll show you. When you're super strong, which is pretty much what I am now, you can move the rock outside, which you'll need to do. There's a clue for that in the game too. Something like full strength make us bold, but bolder make us wade. So obviously, yeah, you push that rock and that'll send you into another cavern. And there's obviously all these catacombs that join up the caverns, and you'll have to figure that out, how to get out. But this is probably the second one of the hardest things in the game to figure out. I haven't figured this out, and not that Wizard's Hut one. You stand here on the edge of the drawbridge, Okay. Then you look up at the switch. Now before I hit it, I'll show. Oh, there's a clue for this. Something. There's something like to stand high on ceremony, you must first leap off engine bracket. That's it. So obviously that's a clue to standing on this is a hinge sort of thing. Yeah, and then you rock the switch. Now watch this. It slingshots you over the castle wall and you land on the chapel. Now once you do that, you can't get back outside. So only do that when you've obviously done all the stuff in the wizard's hut and the boulder. And then you'll get the key for the junk room, I think it was. Yeah, so, I mean, I could keep talking about Castle Master. There's a lot I could say. But I'm going to do a full long play of it, so I'll stop there. How long has this been? 26 minutes. That's a nice round figure for a review. Keep it under half an hour maybe. But yeah, tons of respect for this game. You can see what I mean. You can see the 3D. You can see where they were going. You can see what I mean about the bad colours. You know, you got grey, white, and black, and grey and black walls. You know, it's sort of weird. But you heard the music, and for those of you who are Mortal Kombat fans, I got a little bit of a connection to Mortal Kombat and Castle Master that you guys probably don't know about. The guy who did the music for Castle Master's name's Matt Furnace. All bow down. Yeah, and Matt Furnace, if you guys don't know, did the music for Mortal Kombat 1 and 2 on the Sega Mega Drive versions of Mortal Kombat 1 and 2. Wait, what did I just say? I don't think I said that right. Sorry. Matt Furnace did the music for Castle Master, and he also did the music for Mortal Kombat 1 and 2 on the Sega Mega Drive. So, yeah, there's your little connection. Matt Furnace, man. I don't know, some of you probably might be confused going, no, Dan Forden did the music. Dan Forden did the original music from Mortal Kombat's on the arcade, but Matt Furnace did the home Sega Mega Drive versions. So, you know that some of the levels are different, and yeah, got that which is like the second level on MK1, you know. He did all them, and yeah, he did the Mortal Kombat 2 music too, so that's pretty cool. Right, so, there's not much more I can say about Castle Master other than me doing a full review, but as you can see, I've got 4 keys there, so I'm hoping I can do the full review in an hour without me blabbering on, but yeah, I love this game. So much respect for it. I would love to see a remake of it. The music was awesome, the graphics were cool, and this 3D engine is just brilliant. They even released an editor where you could make your own 3D sort of stuff, which was cool. It's called the 3D Construction Kit. I like this game so much I even made a homepage for it. If you Google Castle Master, one of the first or second link you'll find Castle Master homepage, which is a really dated project that I made years ago, and this, I don't know, it's been taken over a million times. There's ads all over the page now. Some of the links don't work anymore. You know, it's pretty old, but yeah, you can check that out if you guys are interested. I've got links to some of the screenshots of the games there too. So, thanks for watching another Commodore 64 review. Yeah, Castle Master. I'd probably give this game probably just a 9 out of 10 because, you know, once you beat it, that's pretty much it. And it can be, you know, pretty slow. And but it is very atmospheric, you know. It's like I said, it's a lot like that Assassin's Creed, which a lot of you probably think is a bizarre comparison. But Assassin's Creed was all about experience and ambience. It wasn't about full action of the game. You sort of just played through it and you know, enjoyed the ride, which is sort of what this was about too. So yeah, very cool game. And because of this game, you know, I love castles, man. Just that whole real spooky, you know, big concrete towers, stone towers, just really awesome. One day I hope to check out some towers in Germany. So yeah, thanks for watching, and yeah, keep your eyes out for that long play if you're interested in more Castle Master.